Imagine being so broken by love that you've built walls thicker than concrete. I was that woman, successful, fierce, but completely shut down. Little did I know, one man would challenge everything I believed about love, connection, and second chances. Before I tell you my story, I need you to understand something. This isn't just another tale of romance or redemption. This is a lifeline for anyone who's ever felt broken, who's ever believed love was a myth reserved for everyone but them. If you've built walls so high you can't see over them, if you've convinced yourself that protecting your heart means never letting anyone in, this story is for you. I'm about to take you on a journey that will challenge everything you think you know about love, vulnerability, and second chances. So lean in close, put down your defenses, and listen, because what I'm about to share might just change everything. Growing up, love was always a complicated word in my household. My mother, a woman who survived more than she ever spoke about, taught me that vulnerability was a luxury we couldn't afford. I watched her navigate a world that seemed designed to break black women, and her survival became my blueprint. Every scraped knee, every tearful night, every moment of potential weakness was met with the same fierce message: protect yourself, always. My childhood wasn't just about survival. It was about building walls so high that nothing could touch me. While other girls dreamed of fairy tale romances, I was learning how to be my own hero. By the time I hit my teenage years, I understood that love was more about strategy than emotion. Each relationship became a calculated risk, each connection a potential battlefield where I refused to be the casualty. My professional life became my ultimate shield. I climbed corporate ladders with a precision that left no room for emotional interference. Marketing executive by day, emotional fortress by night, I was the woman other women whispered about. Successful, untouchable, seemingly complete. But completeness is a performance, and I was its most talented actress. The first real heartbreak came during my mid-20s. Marcus, charming, ambitious, the kind of man who could make promises sound like poetry. He was everything I thought I wanted, until he wasn't. The betrayal wasn't just about his infidelity. It was about the complete dismantling of my carefully constructed world. I remember the moment I discovered his lies. Standing in our shared apartment, divorce papers in one hand, my shattered expectations in the other. That day, I didn't just lose a relationship. I lost the last remnant of romantic idealism I'd been holding on to. But breaking points aren't always dramatic. Sometimes they're quiet realizations that settle into your bones. Mine came not with a bang, but with a whisper. I looked at myself in the mirror one evening and realized I was tired. Tired of performing strength. Tired of protecting myself from a love that seemed more like a myth than a possibility. I made a decision then. Love was not for me. Not because I was broken, but because I was complete, entirely on my own terms. My independence wasn't a defense mechanism. It was my most powerful weapon. I would build an empire, create a life so full that the absence of romantic love would be nothing more than a footnote. Little did I know, the universe had other plans. Plans that would challenge everything I believed about connection, vulnerability, and the extraordinary power of unexpected love. This is not a story of rescue. This is a story of revelation. Some encounters are written in the stars, though I'd stopped believing in such romantic nonsense years ago. It happened at a tech conference in San Francisco, the kind of event where power players trade ambition like currency. I was there to close a major marketing deal, my presentation polished to perfection. That's when he walked in, not with the typical billionaire swagger, but with a quiet confidence that seemed to whisper rather than shout. Alexander Reed, a name that would later become synonymous with everything I thought I knew about connection. At first, he was just another potential business contact. I've met dozens like him, successful men who mistake professional courtesy for an invitation. But Alexander was different. While other executives talked over me, he listened. Not just heard, but truly listened, in a way that made me uncomfortable with how seen I suddenly felt. Our first real conversation happened after my presentation. Instead of the typical networking small talk, he asked about the story behind my work. Not the surface-level achievements, but the deeper motivation. I found myself sharing more than I intended, glimpses of my journey that I typically kept locked away. His questions weren't intrusive. They were genuine, weighted with a respect that caught me completely off guard. Resistance was my default setting. Every time he showed genuine interest, I would create distance. A perfectly timed work email, a strategic exit, a wall of professional politeness that I'd mastered over years. But Alexander had a patience that defied my expectations. He didn't chase. He waited. He respected the boundaries I'd so carefully constructed, which only made those boundaries more intriguing to dismantle. Months passed. Our interactions were professional, then slowly became something more. Not romantic, not yet, but a connection that defied my understanding of relationships. He saw me, truly saw me, in a way no one ever had. Not as a conquest, not as a project to be fixed, but as a complete person with her own intricate world. The turning point came during a particularly challenging project. I was facing a professional obstacle that would have broken lesser spirits. Alexander didn't offer to solve my problem. Instead, he offered perspective, support, a partnership that went beyond business. I found myself sharing vulnerabilities I'd spent years protecting. My fears, my past traumas, the walls I'd built, piece by piece, I was allowing myself to be truly seen. It wasn't about falling in love. It was about learning that love could be something entirely different from what I'd experienced before. A partnership of equals, a connection that didn't demand my sacrifice but celebrated my entire self. I was changing, and for the first time in my life, I wasn't afraid of that change. Healing isn't linear. It's not a straight line from broken to whole, but a complex dance of vulnerability, courage, and self-discovery. With Alexander, I learned that true connection isn't about being fixed, but about being seen, truly and completely seen. The work of confronting my past was brutal. Therapy sessions that felt like excavations, digging through layers of pain I'd carefully buried. Alexander never pushed. He was present, a quiet, steady presence that gave me the space to unravel myself. I realized my past traumas weren't something to be ashamed of, but chapters that shaped my strength. Each painful memory became less of a wound and more of a testament to my resilience. Trust didn't come easily. It was a daily choice, a conscious decision to lower my guard millimeter by millimeter. Some days were victories, moments of complete vulnerability where I'd share my deepest fears. Other days, the old walls would rise quickly, a protective instinct honed by years of self-preservation. Alexander understood. He never made me feel broken for my struggle, never rushed my process. The turning point wasn't dramatic. It wasn't a single moment, but a collection of moments. A touch that didn't feel like a threat. A conversation that didn't require me to perform strength. Slowly, I was learning the difference between protection and isolation, between guarding my heart and actually living. My definition of love transformed completely. It was no longer about grand gestures or fairy tale rescues. Love became about mutual respect, genuine partnership, and the radical act of choosing vulnerability. I discovered that my independence and my capacity for connection weren't opposing forces. They could coexist, could even strengthen each other. The night everything shifted, we weren't doing anything extraordinary. Just sitting together, my head on his shoulder, comfortable in a silence that once would have terrified me. I realized I was no longer fighting myself. The walls I'd built to protect myself had become a prison, and I was finally walking free. My future looked different now, not because Alexander completed me, that toxic narrative was long gone, but because he showed me a version of myself I hadn't known was possible. A woman who could be successful, independent, and open. A woman who could love without losing herself. This wasn't a story about being saved. This was a story about saving myself. About understanding that my past didn't define me, but it could refine me. About learning that vulnerability isn't weakness. It's the most profound form of strength. I am not the woman I was. I am something more, something powerful, something whole. My story isn't unique. It's a blueprint. A roadmap for anyone who's ever felt like love was something that happens to other people. I'm not here to tell you that everything will be perfect. I'm here to tell you that you are stronger than your past, more resilient than your pain, and capable of rewriting your own narrative. This isn't about finding the right person. This is about becoming the right person for yourself first. About understanding that vulnerability is not a weakness, but the most profound strength you can possess. If you're sitting there, feeling stuck, feeling like love is impossible, I see you, I was you, and I'm here to tell you that transformation is possible. Your story isn't over. In fact, the most beautiful chapter might be just about to begin. Take the first step. Break down one brick in your wall. Have that conversation you've been avoiding. Open your heart, just a little. Trust that you are worthy of connection, of love, of being completely, authentically yourself. Your journey starts now. Are you ready?